Hello. I don't know about you, but every time I turn on the TV, I find some crazy new exercise, whether it be P90X, T25, Beachbody. Maybe it's an equipment like Bowflex. I think the world is enamored with being physically fit or being healthy, from what you eat to how much you exercise, and they all promise within so many days that your body will turn from not healthy to unbelievably healthy. So I started thinking about that. Am I really healthy? How's my relationship with my wife? How's my relationship with my children? How's the relationship that I have in my work? If I really start looking at my life and the world in the view of health, am I involved in a healthy church? And so when Dr. April gave us this assignment to look at a nonprofit organization out there, I started really thinking, well, I'm a part of a church. It's a brand new church. Is that church really healthy? Is it really something that I can say is a healthy church? What does a healthy church look like? Is it the music that makes it healthy? Is it the preaching that makes it healthy? Is it the coffee that they serve? I don't know. And so through this case study and the project that I had, the one main question I kept asking myself is, what are the characteristics of a healthy church? What are some of the things that we need to be really looking at to determine if it's a healthy church or not? And that's what brought my interest to this, is what is a healthy church? And so, give you a little background. The church that I'm a part of is about 2 years old. We started out with 20 families. And within the 20 families, within the first year and a half, we'd moved to about 400 people attending on a Sunday morning. Yep. So on the outside looking in, you would say, good night. That is an active, growing church. And it is. It is. It is an active and growing church. And so I wanted to really look at what are the aspects of a church. Think about this for a second. In the United States, there's over 300,000 Protestant churches currently, a little bit more than 300,000. And so as you drive around your town and you look, you can probably see a Methodist or a Baptist or a Catholic church or a non-denominational. There are different denominations all over the country. And they have different styles. Their music is a little different. The preaching may be a little different. Their children's ministry may be a little different. But each one of them has a unique style or a unique culture. So what are the core aspects of it to be a healthy church? So in this, I needed to pick a method on evaluating and studying my nonprofit. And so the method I chose was ethnography. And that's the method I chose for this and the approach. This approach allowed me to make observations and have interactions in the church that I was actively a part of. I really didn't do formal interviews. I took my small group Bible study that I had and kind of used it as a focus group as well as interactions with people, whether it be on Sunday morning or over the telephone, just common everyday interactions of asking them, how do you think the church is doing? What's their opinion? What are some things that we could do better? What do they look for in a church? So forth and so on. Just questions like that. And so that's what I use as far as my method. And the two things that I found very interesting as I started doing my observations. The first thing that I found very interesting is the outreach that the church has. So in some of the material that I looked and the research that I found, there was a list of 6 aspects of a healthy church, and one of the aspects was a church that had an outward focus or a Christ-centered focus, an outreach to those people who didn't know Christ, who weren't going to a church. And so one of the things that this church does a fantastic job at is they have chosen to take 2 to 4 Sundays a year. And that means Sunday morning, the regular worship time at 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, or really 10:15 to 12 o'clock, they took that time out and they would go out into the community and do things to serve people. One of the things that we do is on one Sunday morning is we go out to all the police department and all the sheriff's department and all the fire departments, and we do nothing but feed them. We feed them, we feed their families. They can invite anybody they want to up to the station, and we basically care for them and tell them thank you for their service, thank you for all that they've been doing for us, and that is on Sunday morning, and that's one of the aspects. Another thing that we do as a church is Fun Day Sunday, and in that event is usually in the springtime when it's warming up. We go to a local park. We rent the park out, and we have blow-up games, we have slides, we have kickball, we have food, fun, and fellowship. And at about 9:30, one of the group gets there, and they start setting everything up, putting all the blow-ups up, all the fun activities for the kids, face painting. We have snow cones, cotton candy machines. It's like a mini carnival. And then another group or two or three groups go out among the neighborhoods in the surrounding areas. And we do this strategically at the time of church so that if they're not attending church, we don't want to take them from any other church. We want to reach people who are not attending a church. And so we go door to door with an invitation in our hand, knocking on the door and asking them to come to Fun Day Sunday. There's no strings attached. We just want to get to know them. They get to know us, and we want to show them the love of Christ in just a real simple, applicable way of life. And so that's one of the most unique things that I've seen us do. And a lot of the times people come in and they're like, why are y'all doing this? Is there a catch? Is there something to this? And there's really not. We just want to show them that we love them, tell them that we care about them, tell them that there's an opportunity for a church, that you can come as you are. You don't have to dress up. We don't care what you dress or wear. We just want you to come to our church. We want you to see the love of Christ. The other aspect that that I saw in my observations is we built an atmosphere of love. So when you walk into the church did a fantastic job as when a new person would walk in, they were not only said, hello, how are you? It was, hello, my name is Craig, or my name is John, or my name is Sarah, or my name is Andrea. How are you? What's your name? Are these your children? And get to know these people. And one of the things that the church did a really good job at is they set it up in their training classes with their greeter ministry that they had, is if you were hosting a party at your house and you invited a bunch of people, would you allow these people to come in your house and you not talk to them? And so we have greeters throughout the entire service that will walk around and just get to know people. And that has built an unbelievable atmosphere of love. And that has really driven a lot of people to want to come there because they feel loved, they feel cared for, and they feel valued, that they even showed up, took an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes out of their day to come hear the Word of God and to be loved on by people. And I think one of the biggest aspects in the research that I found, especially in the Scripture, is God says, you'll know that they're my children because they have a love for one another. And I think the church really needs to love one another. And so that was one of the big key takeaways that I had and that I really found to be very interesting. So the theory that I used in this was the cultural approach to organization. Gertz and Penkanowski, I hope I said that correctly, their main theory for this is an organization does not have culture, it is the culture. And so what I wanted to do with this theory is to look at what the church says they want to be versus what the culture really allows them to be. And so the aspect of the church that they have three things that they want to accomplish, which is their mission or their vision of this church. And it's to seek, to shape, and to send. And those three elements are very important. So seek is outreach. And that's going out into the town, that's and being inviting into the church, that's hosting the Christmas Eve service that they do on the square. They don't even have it at their church. They actually go out into the community and host it for everyone that's driving around the local square to stop and pull over and say, what's this gathering of all these 400 or 500 people on a Christmas Eve service? That was one of the things that they did. And so they did a fantastic job on seeking. And so the other part that I looked at is shape. And so shape is discipleship. How do we discipleship? How do we build into the believers that are at our church? And so that's the one aspect that I found within the culture of the church did not really line up with what the church's mission was. And then the last one was Seek, and they do a fantastic job of sending people out to missions, whether it be local missions or foreign missions, and it's talked about on a regular basis. They do a fantastic job. And so one of the areas of recommendation that I had for the church, and I had the honor and privilege just a couple of weeks ago, just really last week, to sit down with a pastor and share with him my evaluations, my observations, and we both agreed that the aspect of shape is one of the areas of communication that the church could really do a better job. What do they mean by shape? What do they mean? How do they get involved? If I'm a church member of community church, how do I get involved by being discipled? And so that was a great outcome. It was a positive conversation that I had. And so this has been a really enlightening study for me. I've enjoyed the case study a lot. And I hope you've had a great semester. I know I did as well. Very challenging. And so with that, those are kind of my observations and how I went about it, my theory and my method. And so I wish you a very happy holidays and a very Merry Christmas. And hope to see you soon. Thank you.